Welcome back. This is your math tutor Naresh. This is the second video of order of operations and substitution. So let's get started. In this video we're going to do substitution. So practice questions with using substitution. Okay, so here's a question. We're told x times a minus 2xac. So that's the question. Evaluate this if x is -1, a is -2, and c is 3. So the question says evaluate. So we're given this expression, xa minus 2xac. If xa and c have these values, what does this evaluate to? Okay, so the first step is substitution. So what's the value of x? -1. So we substitute or replace x by -1. And when you make the substitution, put the value inside the brackets. The value of a is -2. Then the minus sign, copy the 2. The value of x is -1 times a. The value of a is -2 times c. The value of c is 3. So now we're going to simplify, evaluate using our order of operations. So -1 times -2 is +2. So here I can multiply all of these. So negative times negative is positive, times negative is negative. And now 2 times 1 is 2, times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, right? So 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. So 2 take away 12 is -10. So we have substituted and evaluated. So this expression, the value of this expression works out to be -10 when x, a, and c have these values. All right. Now let's do another example. So -3ab plus 5a squared if a equals -2 and b equals 5. So if these are the values of a and b, what does this expression evaluate to? So let's substitute -3. So substitute the value of a, that's -2. The value of b is 5, plus copy the factor of 5, a, replace a by -2, then squared. So now we use order of operations after we have substituted the values. So negative times negative is positive, 3 times 2 is 6, 6 times 5 is 30. And then we have plus, so that's 5, -2 squared, so we do brackets and exponent first. -2 squared is 4. So then we have 30, so copy the plus, 5 times 4 is 20. So now we're left with addition, and that's something we do last, addition and subtraction. So 30 plus 20 is 50. So that's the answer. So notice when I do this, I no longer sort of rely on BEDMAS. That's the order of our operations, but you don't have to be looking at it every time. So after you've done number of questions, so you subconsciously know that, okay, this is bracket, I gotta do that first, then the exponent, and then multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction last. So in this question, I didn't even think about brackets, exponents. I just went right through every line, right? So and that becomes part of you. It becomes natural to you after you've done a number of questions. All right, so let's move on. All right, so if we have x squared y minus 6x cubed y squared z. And then if these are the values, let's say x is 2, y is -3, and z is -1. So let's substitute and then we will evaluate. So I think I'm going to need a bit more room. So x, the value of x is 2, so 2 squared. Value of y is -3 minus 6. So replace x by its value, which is 2 cubed. Replace y by its value, which is -3. Then square it. and then times z, the value of z is -1. So brackets and exponents first. So 2 squared is 4. So 4 times -3 minus 6. So 2 cubed, brackets and exponents, 2 cubes is 8. And then -3 squared is +9, then times -1, right? So now 4 times -3, so we're dealing with multiplication now. 4 times -3 is -12. And now this is negative, and that's a negative, so negative times negative is going to be positive. And now we just got to multiply this. So again, 8 times 9 is 72, 72 times 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 1 carry over, 6 times 7, 42, plus 1, 43. So 432. So arithmetic, make sure you multiply correctly, or you can always use your calculator. So okay, so 8 times 9 is 72, 72 times 6, I'll just double check, 72 times 6, yes, that is 432. So 432 take away 12, so now we do addition and subtraction last, so that would be 420, and that's the final answer. Okay, so the key is practice as much as you can, that it becomes natural, that you don't even have to think about BEDMAS, you just automatically flow through the question. Alright, so let's do more examples. Okay, so let's do something that has fractions. So if we have something like this, 2/3 AB squared plus B over 2A. So we're given A is -3 and B is 6. So let's substitute. So 2/3, the value of A is -3. So times B squared, the value of B is 6. So we square it. Plus, in the numerator, we have B, the value is 6. In the denominator, 2 times the value of A. So A, the value is -3. So substitution is done, and now let's do order of operations to evaluate it. So copy 2/3, and then copy a factor of -3. So 6 squared is 36. And then here, so I'm going to copy plus 6 over to the multiplication here. 2 times -3 is -6. Now, at the next step, so this 3 will actually cancel with this 3, right? So I could write this as a fraction, this -3 as a fraction, all over 1. So now, what this becomes is, so there's nothing in the denominator, they're all 1s. Now 2 times 36 is 72, and then it's going to be negative. So this is -72, right? So 2 times 36 is 72. We have a -1 here, so it's going to be negative. Over here, so we have 6 divided by 6, so they cancel each other out because 6 divided by 6 is 1, or 6 goes into itself 1 time in the numerator, 1 time in the denominator. But now what about the positive divided by negative? So positive divided by negative is negative. So it's going to be -1. So make sure you understand this, that positive 6 divided by -6 is -1, right? And then times a factor of +1, it still is -1. So now we're down to addition and subtraction. So -72, add -1, it's -73. So that's the final answer for this question. Okay, so now let's just move away from the letters X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, and let's introduce some different letters. But does the concept change? Does the question change? No, nothing changes, right? So now, let's say when you work, with rectangles, triangles, forms, and finding areas, volume, so we use different letters. So here we have a P. P equals 2L plus 2W. So that's what we're given. So P here is the perimeter of a rectangle, right? So rectangle, the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So for length, capital letter L, for width, capital letter W. So those are the variables we're using, rather than X, Y, Z, or ABC. So we're told that length is 7.5 centimeters, and the width is 3.5 centimeters. So we have decimals in this question. It doesn't matter. So if length is 7.5 centimeters, width is 3.5 centimeters, what's the perimeter, right? So evaluate this. So we can go perimeter equals 2 times, so let's substitute. The length is 7.5 plus 2 times the width is 3.5, and now we multiply. So if in this case the decimals are not bad at all, and if they were complex, you can always use your calculator, right? So 2 times 7.5, so 7.5, you double it, you'll get 15. So that's 15, and then 2 times 3.5, so you double 3.5, you'll get 7, right? So 15 plus 7. So 7.5, 7.5, so that's, you could have written that as 7 over so yes, we could have written that as 7 over 2. No, not 7 over 2, because that would give me 3.5. So okay, so actually 7.5, I'm trying to show you how you can convert this into a fraction. So you would write that as 75 over 10 and then reduce it. 5 goes into 75 15 times, and 5 goes into 10 twice. So this would be 15 over 2. So we could have replaced 7.5 by 15 over 2, and then when you multiply 2 with 15 over 2, these 2's cancel and you're left with 15. So, but intuitively we know if it's 7.5 and you're doubling it, you'll get 15. And same thing, you're 3.5, you're doubling it, you'll get 7. Or what you can do is use your calculator, right? So just go 2 times 7.5, and that'll give you 15. Then 2 times 3.5, that'll give you 7. Okay, so now we add 15 plus 7, that's 22. So the perimeter is 22. Okay. Now let's do another example. So here we're given A equals P plus P times R times T. So the question would say find A. So if P is equal to $2,000 and R is equal to 15%, and time is equal to 2 years. So this is what we're given. So they're saying find A if P is 2,000, R is 15%, and T is 2 years. So this is actually a formula for when you make an investment. So you have your principal amount, which is P. You invest it. In this case, you're investing $2,000 at a rate of interest rate of 15%. 15% compounded annually, and the term that you invested for is 2 years. So if I invest $2,000 today at a rate of 15% per year, and how much will I have in my bank account 2 years from today? So that's the question. So A is the amount 2 years from today. So okay, so our job is to substitute and then evaluate. So the P is 2,000, so we'll say that's 2,000 plus we have 2,000. Okay, I'm going to take out the comma. Then R. So when we plug in the rate here, we want to put a decimal. So 15% is 0.15, and then times T. The T is 2. All right. So now we've done the substitution. So make sure you substituted correctly. So we'll just double check. So P is 2000. So yeah, I got 2000. P is 2000 times R, which is 15%. We want to change it to decimal. So 15 divided by 100 is 0.15 times T, and the value of T is 2. Now, so this is 2000 plus, so 2000 times 2 is 4000 times 15%. So I'll use my calculator, and you can too. So let's see, 2000, 1, 2, 3 zeros, times 2 is 4000 times 0.15, so that's 600. Okay, so now you can add 2000 and 600, so that is $2,600. So that's your answer. So you invest $2,000 today. 2 years from today, you'll have $2,600 in the bank account, given that you're getting an interest rate of 15% compounded annually. All right. So here, my purpose is not to actually get into the investment part of the question. It is simply to do the substitution and apply the order of operations to evaluate this expression or this equation that we're given. So that's our purpose. We're not learning anything about finance in this chapter, in this tutorial. So I'm just showing you different variables that can be given to you. All right, so now let's do maybe a couple more examples on when we work with geometry. So when you work with circles, you have to find the area, the volume, and all those kinds of things. So V equals pi r squared h. So the question will say find V, the volume. The volume when r is 1.2 centimeters and h is 3 centimeters, and the value of pi is approximately 3.14. So the question says find volume when radius is 1.2 centimeters, height is 3 centimeters, and the value of pi is approximately 3.14. So what's V? So V is what we are looking for. So V is a question mark. Okay, so for our purpose, we simply make the substitution. So we go V equals, so the pi is 3.14, put it in brackets. Radius, we're told, is 1.2, we'll square that, and then times the height is 3 centimeters. So now all we have to do is multiply these. Okay, so I'm going to write 3.14 here, and now 1.2 squared, so 1.2 squared is 1.44. So if you want to figure that out on your calculator, what you do is you punch in 1.2 and then you hit the x squared key. So that will square it. So now you multiply three numbers, and I'm going to use my calculator. So 3.14 times 1.44, that's my answer. Now multiply that result by 3. So what I'm getting is 13.56. So that is my answer, 13.56, and volume has units of cubes, so cubic centimeters. So those will be the units. All right, so let's do one more example, and that will be the last example. Okay, all right. So find the circumference of a circle where, okay, circumference is 2 pi r. So the question says, what's the value of C if r is 2/5 millimeters? Okay, so find C if r is 2/5. So in this case, we go 2 times pi. So I'm going to keep the value of pi as pi. I'm not told to use 3.14 for pi, so I'm going to keep pi as pi. And this is actually a better answer than using the 3.14 because we're carrying the exact value of pi. So the only substitution I need to do is for r. So r is 2/5. 5. And this equals, now I can multiply, so 2 times 2 is 4, times pi is pi over 5. So the value of C, the circumference, is 4 pi over 5. And that's where I'm going to end. So I hope you've seen enough examples of substitution, and I hope you found the tutorial useful. If you did, please like or subscribe, and thank you for watching. We will see each other in the next video. Once again, thank you for watching.